Right, for the second time, yeah it is, it's the second time, we're now going to re-silicon the power supply back into position. I've got most of the old silicon off the bottom here, I've had to leave the stuff on the cabinet, so just line that up best we can. There we go. And in that goes. Just got to try and get that to dry there without moving about too much. That cable out of the way. So once that sets, bit of tension now on the cables. Just need something to put that there. Stop that moving too much. And then once that sets, I've now got to get the power brick for the monitor there, and that's just got to be fixed up there. Right, let's crack on with that one. Well, that's fixed. Obviously the gaffer or the tape, the elephant tape you see there, just to hold it while it dries, that'll be removed once the silicone takes hold, but that's in place. And I've still got these two pieces of wood here to sort out. That was the angle adjustment on the monitor, so I still need to cut a piece of proper wood. These were just there just for spacers. So yeah, lots of little tidying up jobs to do on the back. It's those little jobs that sort of add up the time, do you know what I mean? Got the still got the Sean's marquee light to properly wiring and a lot of cable management. It's getting a little bit tight now, and also the power switches here and the appropriate LEDs are going to be fitted into the back panel. I've got a couple of nice sort of stainless steel push buttons there that are going to be fitted on the opening back panel as well. So everything's in place. What else can I tell you? Graphics wise, I've emailed a company about some vinyl coverings for the side of the machine, and also still looking at maybe at the control panel you can get the sort of vinyl overlays. Didn't want to go to the expense and the effort of making up a perspex protector, but apparently these vinyl prints are laminated by UV ink, I think, and they reckon they're sort of 15 to or 12 to 15 years UV protection and 4 to 5 years wear protection. So I'm not going to use this arcade machine intensively, really. It's only going to be for me and, you know, when sort of people come round and stuff like that. So I may be able to get one of those little graphical sort of marquee covers type things for the controls as well. You know, it might make it look nicer. I've left an inquiry anyway, so getting some emails back. But there you go for now. That's all going to sort of set in place, and lots of tidying up. Right, so this is what we're talking about, and yeah, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? It really is. So yeah, things that I need to tidy up. Obviously, you've got the wiring here for Sean's marquee light. That needs all to be sort of stuck down now, and speaker connectors, speaker wire there needs to be kind of tucked back. Still got to do the piece of wood there, so I need to sort that out. Good news is that the power brick for the monitor is now stuck with the silicone, and the power supply is stuck down. Also got all of the additional wiring from the power supply here. Some of this we are piggybacking into to pick up some power, and then we've got the control on-off switch here for the computer and the LEDs, which I think other than the hard drive one, I don't think really I need the others, because I think the other's going to be for the DVD drive, which is not being used. And of course, at some point I've got to upgrade the computer to Windows 7 and then maybe to Windows 10, because currently it's a free download. So there you go, quite a bit to get done today. So without further ado, get on and get going. you people are saying, what do you mean welcome back, Freddie? You lost your mind? Well, for me, it is actually welcome back because this is a week later. Unfortunately, not had any time last week to really sort of work on the arcade machine after work. Without going into it, work's kind of changed goalposts on me at the moment, and basically I'm not getting home till late an hour in the afternoons, and I'm just cream crackered. I just haven't got a chance to do anything on the arcade machine. So it's been a week, and I haven't unfortunately touched it. I've been doing other stuff. Been doing some stuff on the radio side. If you follow my channel, got a couple of nice little nets going on the radio. Also met a fellow YouTube subscriber to my channel, completely by accident. Just met Jez there. That's the Viking on the radio from Potter's Bar. So nice to meet you, Jez. You know, he's a nice fella, and he follows the channel, and he was asking me how I was getting on with this. So going to get some work done today. So what's happened? Well, a few things. Ordered in some new little cable ties so I can get on with some cable management. And also, do you remember that I mentioned that centre hole there? I had something special in mind for that. Well, that's turned up, and somewhere. What this is, ignore that because I won't be using that. But what this is a kind of retrofit start button, the sort of thing that you would fit on your car if you were that way inclined and you wanted to fit an engine start button. Well, this illuminates via 12 volts, and obviously is just a sort of once only push type button. So what I have in mind for this is to fit that into the aperture there. Might have to make that slightly bigger because I think this is 30mm, and then configure that in hyperspin, hopefully. That obviously when you want to start the games, just press start. That will be illuminated, and I think that look pretty cool, to be honest. Well, I think so anyway. So that needs to be fitted in. Also been in contact with a guy on eBay that prints vinyl artwork, and we've been working out some designs. I think I'm going to go for like a Star Wars theme. No reason other than I think it looks quite nice, and Star Wars tends to be in at the moment with the new film released just last month. So I've been in contact with him. Haven't got a price yet, but probably going to talk in about 40 to 50 quid or UK pounds, I think, for the sides, the control panel and the marquee. Then once I've sort of worked that out, obviously I've still got to order in some plexiglass sort of perspex and things like that. But for today, I want to spin it round, and I'm going to get on with a little bit of tidying up of the sort of cables, a bit of cable management, maybe wire up the marquee lamp properly. I can't completely finish that yet because I'm still waiting for two little push buttons to come through from eBay, which is going to be the computer switch on and restart, and also a separate switch so I can turn the marquee light on and off. So anyway, need to get a little bit done today. Got to get this sort of finished now, really, because the weather's changing outside, so I know that I want to be getting on outside, and I've got things I want to do with my sort of radio antenna, and I want to get the convertible car back on the road, and things like that. So I've got to really sort of crack on. So anyway, without any more talking, because it's getting boring, I'm going to spin this around and do a little bit of cable management. Right, I said I'd show you the mistakes that I've made, wouldn't I? And well, kind of egg on the face here. No, seriously, I'm going to show you a mistake I've made. When I powered up this amplifier, right, this is why I go into that little eBay amplifier. I just used one of these sort of piggyback terminals on the power supply, and the feed out was the red and the black, so I just assumed, I didn't check it, I just assumed that would be 12 volts out. However, I'm just now sort of playing about with this illuminated button, and when I check the power output that's going to the amplifier, I'm only getting, if I just get that in there for example, I'm only getting 5 volts. which of course is one of the commodities that the power supply puts out. And if I want the full Monty, if I want the full 12 volts, I have to use the yellow wire, which comes out at 12.5. So I'm currently running that amplifier just off of 5 volts. I'm surprised it even works, but that might explain, do you remember I said that I was a little bit disappointed with the sound? It sounded a little bit thin. Well, that might be the reason, because I've piggybacked onto the wrong supply. So I need to change that, re-establish the wiring on 12 volts, and I'm also trying to work out if I can use this sort of push start button, because obviously this needs a 12 volt supply, but I've only got 3 wires, so I don't want this to suddenly feed back 12 volts onto the sort of USB control board, which is 5 volts. So not quite sure at the moment whether I'm going to be able to use the built-in illumination, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm just playing about with that. But there you go, it just shows you, doesn't it? I just didn't think. I just went straight on to the power supply. There it works, and I'm running it on the wrong supply. I'm 8 volts. Yeah, about 8 volts down. Never mind. Right, we shall rectify that immediately. So, as I suspected, if I use this button here, if I actually power the illumination, which is what I wanted to do, when I press it, of course it supplies 12 volts, which would be going to the relay to do the starter on the car. So unfortunately that isn't going to be what I want. That's a shame. So unless I can somehow introduce a LED into there maybe, so this is illuminated, I'm not going to be able to power the internal LED, unfortunately, because it looks nice, doesn't it? But that's not going to work out. But looking at that, you've got a circuit board there. I might be able to drill into that, just put in a little blue LED so that lights up all the time. So maybe all is not lost. But good job I checked that, because I don't want to start whacking 12 volt DC into those little controller boards. There we go, something I can mod, something to get on with. Right, we'll crack on with that. Right, gonna have a plan now with this sort of start light here, or switch. What I've done, I've just put in a small hole and milled in a little slot there, and then I have these LEDs that Sean was kind enough to give to me when he supplied me with the marquee light and the appropriate resistors. So what I'm going to do is just carefully insert one into the actual switch itself, and just hold that in probably with a little bit of hot snot or something, and then hopefully I can get the threaded locking nut on, and we can sort of go ahead and use this, and it's going to light up and look pretty good. So that's the idea anyway. So I've got a little bit of soldering to do and a little bit of creative modding or bodging, depending on how you feel about it. So we're gonna get on and do that, and hopefully when I show the next video I'll have this all working. Fingers crossed. Okay, after quite a bit of an ordeal, there you go, I got it there. That's the the start button. So when that's connected to hyperspin, that'll be the start of the game. So it doesn't look too bad. Slightly misdone the hole, to be honest. Couple of millimeters too big. But I think overall, that's not looking too bad, really. It's just a bit different, isn't it? You know, than the usual arcade buttons. So there you go. Just got to figure that onto the controller board, and that's a good one. Job's a good one. 10-second update. So I've just wired that car starter switch there. Just sort of put it into the controller board there. It's not. I couldn't find the exact same little connector, so I've found one that fits. Hopefully that's going to work. So what needs to happen now is I need to adjust that so it doesn't catch the fan. There you go. That's something that I didn't realise. Well, I'm back in 10 seconds when I've adjusted that. Right, I'm back. Take 2. Right, hopefully I've got that cable out of the way of that CPU cooling fan. Shall we have another go? Oh, hang on, just one sec. Look, one of these little cable tie things here I've just forgotten about. I've used quite a lot of cable ties. That shot off somewhere, didn't it? Quite a few of these. Good job I bought some more. Probably not very economical with the cable ties. Right, okay. Let's try that again. That needs just a little bit of adjustment there. Oh, that's ever so tight, isn't it? So need to make sure that that stays out of the way. Ta-da! Well, there we go, it's down, and the little start button is light. So that's now connected, so I'm going to now tidy up, have some lunch, spin that round, and then go into hyperspin and see if I can configure that so that it starts the games. And if that works, that'll be a good step forward. Okay, that's coming up. Right, just started up the machine. Now the good thing is, as you can see, look, I've got the marquee lights working, which is a good thing. We can change them different colours if we want, or just go back to how we were, or switch them off. Other thing though, which is quite interesting really, is the fact that I've now got a little bit of interference buzz on the amplifier, which I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Now that is quite interesting because I can't remember who it was, but someone commented a few videos back when I first thought I was going to use one of these cheap sort of Chinese amplifiers. Someone said, oh, you know, they're prone to a little bit of interference, and I wasn't getting any interference when I was running it on the 5-volt feed, and now I'm on a 12-volt feed. I am, which is a bit strange. So I'm going to see how it runs, whether it runs with a bit more gusto now it's getting the full voltage. If it's no different, then I might go back to the 5-volt feed, and because if that works, then why not? But anyway, that's another little problem.